Hello, Watem here, welcome back to Umineko When Seagulls Cry. Let us continue.
ほら、君が私よりも尊敬する親父殿も愛用していたんだぞ。ほらほら、遠慮なく試したまえ。
いやいや、やめて、やめて、あなた。
During travel, Kraus had the innocence of a child. He didn't even conceal his jealousy of the respect Natsui normally gave Kinzo. Just being able to see that side of her husband made travelling all the way to another country worthwhile. Kraus urged her even harder to bite it, but Natsui, undaunted, ran from place to place and finally yelled that he was being too pushy. Kraus was miffed the whole bus ride. That's a word I haven't seen in a while. What a child, to let a little thing like this get him down. Natsui thought exasperatedly. Then, a native tour guide in the bus took out one of those Areca nuts and started explaining about it. It had apparently been a beloved luxury item in these parts since ancient times, similar to tobacco. True, people used to chew tobacco as well. Just like in Natsui's case, it was starting to be disliked by young people and was becoming obsolete. Furthermore, it was treated as a good luck charm in this area, and was known as a symbol for couples. She looked at her husband's face. He turned away abruptly, but it looked like his cheeks had gotten a little red.
んで、夫の肩に身を委ねて手なんか握っちゃったりしたわけか。なんだ、そなたら夫婦結構純愛ではないか。燃え上がっちゃったであろう。その晩とかん。
Now, which night would you be referring to? Red-faced and avoiding Beata's eyes, Natsui tried to hide her embarrassment by swallowing the patty's whole. Chewing of her cheeks puffed out like a blowfish. Beata said, "Yep, this is the best snack anyone could have with tea." Nodded several times, a broad smile on her face.
もっとも、それも新婚の頃の話です。今は六軒島を出ることもできぬ身。カゴの鳥ですよ。
Noticing some similarities with Beatrice at the moment?
それを言うならわらわも同じよ。死ねども死ねども六軒島よりは逃げられぬ。カゴの鳥はわらわも同じだ。
あなたのことは知りませんし、詮索もしません。しかし、軽んじれぬ境遇であったことは察します。
老名主を気取るつもりもないわ。同じカゴの鳥同士、せいぜい仲良くしようぞ。わらわはそなたを気に入ったぞ。
そうですか。ありがとう。
この度の親族会議における使用人たちへの指示や采配は見事であった。金蔵が何時にどこにいて何をして何を残したか、それらを見事に共有させ矛盾なく組み上げた。
Now, why would she have to start killing?
それらの緻密な計画書は高度な魔法陣のそれと同じ美しさがあったぞ。
Are there perhaps people involved in the plot who don't realize that people have actually been dying? It's oddities with that. To make it look like Kinzo actually existed and was living life his own way, she had written his schedule for the day down to the finest detail and made the servants follow it to the letter. When did you meet whom and where, and what did you leave them? When did you do what and where, and what changed? As a result, even though the relatives never saw Kinzo even once, They hadn't suspected in the slightest that he hadn't been there. Everyone and the rest truly believed Kenzo had just happened to be walking through the hall when he heard them talking about the inheritance and went into a rage. Everything had gone just as Natsui's plan had predicted, down to the finest detail. With cooperation by the servants, it also worked smoothly, down to the finest detail.
万一にも知られるわけにはいかぬ秘密ですので、念入りに策を練りましたから。
その緻密さと意志が絶対の成功を呼ぶ。どうやらそなたは魔女としてはラムダデルタ教の一派らしいな。
I've been thinking, certainties doesn't sound like Beatrice.
それを魔法と自覚したならば、いつでも魔女見習いを名乗れるレベルだ。
それを魔法と呼ぶなら、熊沢あたりはさしずめ仮病の魔女ですね。忙しい日に限って腰痛で休むと連絡があります。毎年親族会議の日にはいつもです。
And yet she's been there for the past two.
ああ、熊沢は違う違う。もっともっと高位の魔女であるぞ。正体知ったら驚くぞ。
Watching these two have their pleasant chat, there's another pair with steam rising from their black tea. However, this second pair was in a world that the first couldn't see, where golden roses bloomed.
ロノウェが気を利かせて、同じディンブラとかいう紅茶を入れてくれたぜ。
Oh, he made a sound. Felt as though Beato muttered something. For the first time, it felt as though something had gone through to her. Surely she had taken an interest in the black tea and felt like drinking it. Thinking this, Battler took Beato's cup into her hand, making her hold the cup. Beato's eyes trembled sadly, and her fingers shook. Almost as though she couldn't even move her fingers as she wanted to, and was mourning the fact that she could no longer enjoy the tea she had once loved by her own power. That's how she looked. So, Battler put his hand on Beato's, grabbed hold of a teacup, and lifted it to her lips. Then, there was only a single mouthful. Beato sipped. I don't recognize this music. The days they'd had been locked in a killing fest with red swords and blue wedges already seemed like the distant past. Now, not only was Beato unable to do that, it was even difficult for her to make her body do as she pleased. Even just drinking a mouthful of black tea like this was hard.
どうだ、バラの匂いが素敵な紅茶だよな。口に合うか。
Of course, Beato didn't respond.
どうしちまったんだ、お前は。
What's with you treating her like this, though?
これもまた作戦なんだろ。落ち込んでるふりをして後でバーッと驚かそうって作戦なんだろ。
At least this part of the piece.
それが狙いならもう二度と同じ手には乗らねえからいい加減にしろ。
Are you sure about that battle? Are you sure? Because it certainly feels like you'd be prone to fall into it again.
お前がそんなざまじゃこっちもなあ、 そろそろ引っかかったなバーカってバカ笑いしてくれよ。どんなネタもあまり引っ張りすぎると笑えなくなるぞ。二番煎じなら特にな。笑ってくれ。あそこで夏日おばさんとお茶を飲みながらケラケラと笑ってるみたいに。せめてニヤーっと笑うくらいはできねえのかよ。
二度とないわ。
You?
その子が笑うことはもう二度と。
Those sudden words are exceedingly cruel.
どうして二度となんて言える。ベアとの笑う権利を勝手に奪うな。
I don't think that's what she's trying to say.
あら、赤で言った方がいい？
I shook my head furiously. Then, with an expression that didn't reveal her thoughts in the slightest, Van Castell spoke while looking at Beato's face. And the words she used was completely incomprehensible to me.
おめでとう。
Okay then.
何がだ。
You've cornered her thusly?
ベアトがそのざまなのはあなたが勝ったからこその結果だからよ。
Mm-hmm.
何を言ってやがる。
あなたはかつてのゲームで言ったわ。これは互いを苛む永遠の拷問だとね。そうよ。ベアトにとっても拷問だった。
Mm.
そしてその拷問ゲームにあなたは勝ったのよ。だからベアトの魂は殺され、人形同然の屍になり果てた。
俺がベアトを殺したと。
勝敗はどちらか一方の勝とうとする意志がくじけた時に決まる。
Mm-hmm.
あなたとベアとの戦いという意味においてはすでに前回決着がついていたのよ。まああなたにとっては預かり知れぬうちに。
なら俺の勝利なのにどうしてゲームが終わらない。どうしてこのゲームがまだ続いている。
Because a couple of witches want to have some fun.
その子の足首についてる足かせ、
Still alive.
ラムダが施したルールなのよ。
Even if Beatrice tries to yield or gets discouraged or gives up, she isn't capable of stepping down from the game. That's the rule. Or maybe it's a curse.
かつてあなたが屈しそうになった時、私はあなたをサポートしたわ。あなたには知覚できないだろうけどあなたにとって有利な展開とヒントが与えられるように私はあなたに助力した。
Yeah, in terms of couldn't perceive it, yep, that sounds about right, yep.
だから今あなたはここにこうして覚えてる？私に助けられたこと。
Apart from Angie. Bianca still stared at me. True, I wasn't aware of it. But just maybe, I was saved by her.
同じようにラムダはベアトをサポートしてるわ。
Except she isn't.
そして今度はベアトが屈しようとしている。だから今度はラムダが屈しないようにサポートしたわ。それが足かせ。
It doesn't sound like support to me.
投了を許さないことによってベアトをゲーム上救ったわ。
何をどう救ったってんだ。
本来ゲームは2つの終わり方があった。どちらかが負けを認めて投了するか、どちらかがチェックメイトでゲームに勝つか。
Except both sides have been forbidden from resigning.
ベアトはその前者に抵触しかけた。
だからラムダはそれを潰し、敗北をギリギリのところで回避したの。ゲーム上は立派なサポートだわ。
So, the only way this game can end now is if I win. At the very least, until I do win, the Switch called Lambda Delta can probably try to buy time for Beato to make a comeback. But that will just prolong Beato's suffering even more. Neither of us want that. Both Beato and I have fought with all we had, trying to win. The game repeated several times because we were both giving it everything we could muster. Well, Beato did throw her win a few times. Then, that one time, we confronted each other head-on with all of our strength. And Beato acknowledged her loss. She said she wanted me to end this game and entrusted everything to me. So, Ben Costello's words are the truth. She said it's my fault Beato's become a living corpse. That's true. But it's something both of us wanted. Yeah, she totally wanted to be a living corpse.
俺たちの勝負はもう決着している。なのにゲームは終わらない。だからベアトは俺に託したんだ。
Put an end to the game.
早く勝ってこのゲームを終わらせろってな。
Now that the game's been resolved, letting it continue any further means endless torture for Beato. Nothing more than a nightmare. I've got to give her a perfect checkmate, end this game in the truest sense, and let her rest in peace. For that reason, I'll keep fighting. By continuing the game, Beato's internal torture will continue. What about, fighting to get back home to your sister? What happened to that motivation? I felt as though I could only let her sleep peacefully by slowly strangling her to death.
もう俺には真実なんてどうでもいい気がしてきた。
Wow.
ベアトの気が済んだなら、もうゲームなんてどうでもいいだろ。
Wow.
ベアトは投了した。俺は魔女幻想の真実など捨ておいて、家族と家に帰る。それでいいじゃねえか。
If only Lambda Delta hadn't placed the curse of that shackle on her, this battle would be over already. That's why I found it detestable. What if it's a ploy? This game, which I can't finish without tormenting Beato more, is detestable.
何？真実に近づいたらベアトが苦しそうな表情を見せるようになったんで、急に手心を加えたくなったの。なら好きなだけ手加減するといい。あるいはベアトに勝ちを譲ればいい。そして妹に孤独で悲惨な未来を無限に強い続ければいい。
There you go, Ben Costello.
そういうわけじゃねえ。
Uh-huh. That's right. I have to return for Anje's sake as well. I know this isn't the time to start feeling compassion for Beato.
ならきっちり殺しなさい。その魔女を。
Even though Beato was right there, Ben Costello spoke without holding back.
あなたの目的はこの女を殺すことよ。
Okay, Ben Costello.
あなたは前回のゲームでベアトに壊れて口にしたわ。お前を殺すってね。
ああ、そうかもな。だがそれはお前にとやかく言われることじゃねえな。
知ってる？爪を剥ぐときはね、一気に剥いでくれた方がマシなのよ。あなたみたいに優しくおっかなびっくりとぐりぐりもたもたと剥がれる方がよっぽど痛い。 あなたのしてることの方がよっぽど拷問だと思うけど。
No, I wouldn't know.
慈悲があるなら一気に殺しなさい。それが殺すということよ。
余計なお世話だ。俺がこいつにどう引導を渡すかは俺が決めることだ。お前もあのラムダデルタという魔女も関係ない。俺が殺す。他の誰にもそれは許さない。
その意志に変わりがないならいいわ。私はあなたにかけてるのだから。いい？決して忘れないことよ。このゲームに決着をつけない限り、あなたが解放されることは決してない。あなたにだってこのゲームを放棄することは許されないのだから。
分かってない。
ラムダの狙いは分かってる。
Yeah, huh?
ベアトと同じようにあなたにも繊維喪失させて、二人とも生き人形にしてこの世界を永遠に安定させることよ。そんなの嫌でしょ。私も困るわ。
お前の都合など知ったことか。だが俺はゲームを捨てない。ベアトとの戦いの責任を放棄しない。
目的が同じで嬉しいわ。そしてそれは躊躇なくその子を殺せるということよね。
Right, Battler? No hesitation.
そうだ。
I have no way of knowing whether those words eased her pain or hurt her. But I can tell by the dull tingling in my chest. I surely believe I've hurt her. I have no way of knowing what the silent Beato feels. If I think I've hurt her, does that mean she's actually been hurt? And if I didn't think I'd hurt her, would that mean no one's gotten hurt because of me?
で、あそこで夏日とお茶を飲んでるベアトだけど大丈夫よね。
ああ、大丈夫だ。
金蔵の時と同じよ。ベアトリーチェなんて存在しない。あれは魔女の力を借りて危機を乗り越える妙案を思いついたと信じる夏日が生み出した偽りの魔女幻想。二人が並んでお茶を飲んでるように見えるのは、ゲームマスターであり物語の語り手であるラムダデルタがそう解釈しているからなだけよ。
Yes. That's
夏
simple
日に
part.
対し一片の愛も持たずに凝視できたなら、そんな幻想が見えたりはしない。
Without love, it cannot be seen.
だから私の目には夏日が一人ぼっちで黙々と紅茶を飲んでるようにしか見えないわ。
Without love, it cannot be seen. Because love is lacking, it cannot be seen.
あれは夏日が見せている妄想。あそこにベアトリーチェなど存在しない。
Beato mumbled softly. It was a small voice that made it sound like she was in pain. Horn of Berncastell's truth had stepped into her chest.
ああ、そうだろうな。お前の推理は正しいと思うぜ。だが、それをベアトの前で口にするな。
どこで口にしたって同じよ。
Say that in Redfin.
ここはベアトの世界なんだから。
あとはこいつを擁護するわけじゃねえが、夏日おばさんが本当に未知の人物 X ベアトリーチェと名乗る人物とこうしてお茶を飲んでる可能性だってあるんだぜ。この光景は1年前のものだろうが、この日の島の人数が 赤き真実で示されてるわけじゃない。
そうね。この日の六軒島の人数についてはラムダも赤では語ってないわ。
なら夏日おばさんが本当にベアトリーチェと名乗る女とお茶を飲んだと主張することもできるんだぜ。俺にお前の説を否定できないように、お前だって俺の説を否定できないんだ。だからそこにいるベアトが幻想だと断じることもできないぜ。
ああ、猫箱理論。
Yeah, I mean, you can just keep those possibilities around. As I've said before, branches, multiple branches. Keep branches, all the branches until you cut them off. Or forced to cut them off.
それ、ベアトには通用したかもしれないけど、私には通じないわよ。
There's no need to decide on a theory right now.
どうして？
Just needs the existence of a theory. You don't need to have the specific one, really. Doesn't need to be follow a specific path.
だって、夏日はそこで一人ぼっちで紅茶を飲んでるんだもの。
Oh, this feels like cheating. Oh. Oh, being able to save red truth on this side, searching for the truth, that feels like cheating. There was a violent sound of glass breaking, and the Beato who laughed happily and cracked jokes about Matsui's newlywed years was erased. A lonely wind blew, and the one person who remained on the bench drinking tea with a tired expression was Aunt Natsuhi, all by herself. Beato groaned. I could see clearly that she was in anguish. Another illusion of which had been smashed, drawing Beato towards death. In short, this is what the battle to let Beato rest in peace is all about. What about the other 3 episodes? A second ago, Ben Castell likened our fight to the torture of tearing fingernails out. Have to tear them out anyway. My last bit of compassion towards Beato should be to minimize that pain. In other words, even if I want to minimize her pain, I still have to cause it. I have to accept that look of anguish on her face. And at the same time, I realized what a merciless thing the red truth was. Right now, in this rose garden, there's no one except Aunt Natsuhi, who had been smiling in her daydream but is now just sad and tired. In other words, there are no observers except Aunt Natsuhi. So, if that lone observer were to say that she'd had some tea with Beato, no one should be able to refute that. There's something no one can deny. Doesn't that mean it's the truth? No! No. Is P equal to NP? We can't deny it yet. Certainly doesn't mean it's truth, it's a computer science problem. In fact, we think it probably isn't the truth. It certainly isn't, but we don't have the definitive proof. And if you have the definitive proof, then, well, we've got bigger issues at hand. Because then you've solved all NP-complete problems. And Natsuhi is enjoying the roses and drinking tea together with Beato. How could anyone have the right to mercilessly trample that pleasant moment?
赤き真実はまるでハモだ。魔女と戦う上で時に推理を切られ 時に反撃の武器となる刃物だ。
知ってるわよ。それが何？
みだりに使うな。刃物は使うべき時に使えば道具だが、
And a weapon.
悪意を持って使えば凶器でしかない。
True enough. Aunt Matsui wasn't really drinking tea with a witch. However, saying that with red truth probably has nothing to do with our game. Our game is the tale of October 1986. True, it doesn't matter if a witch existed in 1985, as long as she did not exist and commit the murders in 1986. The 2 days of the crime give us more than enough time to injure each other, with our red and blue blades glistening.
これは魔女幻想じゃない。夏日おばさんのプライバシーだ。それを暴く権利なんて誰にもあるものか。
I mean, you're already kind of snooping in on her.
この場に魔女が実在して、夏日とお茶を飲んだと認めてほしいの？
You don't need to confirm nor deny.
あなた、魔女を否定するんじゃなかったの
？1986年10月4日から5日の2日間のゲームについてはな。だが、そのゲーム版の外についてまで俺は魔女の存在を問うつもりはねえぜ。そもそも悪魔の証明により魔女の否定は不可能だ。そしてこのゲームのルールに従い赤でそれを語るのもステイルメイトで禁じ手だ。赤き真実でさえ魔女の存在を否定はできねえんだぜ。
確かに。まさかあなたに魔女の存在を語られるとはね。さすがラムだ。バトラーを人間犯人説と魔女がいてもいいという気持ちのうまいこと中間に引っ張り出してきたわ。
And on that note, I'll be ending it there for today. I hope you've all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, this is going to be the last of the ones that I pre-record before editing everything and then release it. So I look forward to seeing your comments. Until then, see ya.